Hello there. Just mixing together some of the macromolecules in the human body. It's pretty interesting. You know what I'm talking about, right? You don't? Well, then I should tell you about it. The four most common elements in the human body are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. You can remember this using the acronym CHUM. Now, these elements, along with phosphorus in certain cases, make up the four macromolecules in the human body. Those macromolecules being carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. These four macromolecules do everything in your body, from making sure that you get energy, making sure that your body doesn't fall into a goop, all the way to protecting you from diseases and controlling how you feel. I know it sounds complicated, but we're going to break it down today in this episode of Toby Pannone's Science Zone. Introducing Carbo Burger's brand new specialty burger with tomato, lettuce, a bun, and a burger patty. At other restaurants, you might hear that the tomato is a fruit, the lettuce is a vegetable, and the bun is bread. But that's not true. See, the truth is, everything in this burger is just a complex strain of glucose, fructose, and galactose put together into a polysaccharide form into different kinds of complex carbohydrates. The bun, carbs in the form of starch. The lettuce and tomato, carbs in the form of sugar. The patty, well, it's protein, but you were pretty close. And you can even get carbohydrates in the forms of monosaccharide. If you add a ton of ketchup to this burger, you'll be getting a lot of sugar, in the form of glucose, that is. So come to Carbo Burger. We'll give you a burger that has all the energy you need, and can even be used for structural supports inside your cells. Carbo Burger. We give it to you straight. Earlier, when I was talking about carbohydrates, I mentioned that the actual meat of that hamburger wasn't made of carbohydrates, yet we still get energy from it. The actual meat of that burger is made of our second macromolecule, protein. Proteins are extremely important. They're inside every single living organism, including us, and they do everything from controlling how you feel, to making sure your blood sugar levels aren't too high, to even sending messages between cells. Proteins are made up of amino acids. Amino acids, in turn, are made up of an amino group, a carboxyl group, and a special R group that determines what type of the 20 naturally occurring amino acid it is. These amino acids bond together in a peptide bond using hydrolysis to form a polypeptide chain. These proteins can become anything from melanin, which controls the pigmentation of your skin, to human growth hormones, which determines how tall you are, and generally how quickly you grow, get bigger, or shrink even. Proteins are formed in the pituitary gland, if they're hormones, or are even just formed by the RNA in your cell. The RNA is just an instruction for which proteins are supposed to be made and how. They're extremely important, and without them, you probably wouldn't be able to do many of the important things you do every day, even like feeling happiness. Proteins are really interesting and really important. The third macromolecule group that we'll be talking about are lipids. Inside your body, lipids don't do that much. The most important thing they do is they make up the lining of all your cells. Well, it is actually pretty important. They make up phospholipids, or phospholipid bilayer in the sense of your cells. Phospholipid bilayer on either side has two hydrophobic heads and two hydrophilic tails. In between that is a fluid that helps to allow certain proteins and other chemicals in and out of the cell while protecting the cell from viruses, bacteria, and other sorts of things. One really interesting thing about lipids is that they're made up of multiple fatty acid chains as well as a glycerol. Those fatty acid chains can be multiple different kinds of fat. One would be unsaturated, another would be saturated fatty acid. And the only difference between the two is that unsaturated fatty acids have a double bond between two of the carbon atoms, and saturated fatty acids are much unhealthier for you, even if it only means that there's one less bond between two of the carbon atoms. The most common form of a polymer of a lipid would be a triglyceride, 3 fatty acid chains, and a glycerol. Other than that, lipids really are just used to provide fat stores and provide a little bit of excess energy, but their main job is to protect your cells. They're pretty darn important. Now, can I watch TV? Lastly, we'll be talking about nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are extremely important inside your body. The monomer of a nucleic acid, also known as a nucleotide, is made up of a 5-carbon sugar, a nitrogen base, and a phosphate group. Together, they make up the majority of your DNA and your RNA. Nucleic acids essentially tell your body what you're supposed to do, whether you grow a long mustache, your hair is curly or straight, how tall you are, the volume and pitch of your voice, the pigment of your skin, and even more. DNA and RNA are made up of bases, nucleotides in different formats, different polymers, if you will, that are then sent to ribosomes to be synthesized into different proteins. They're extremely important, in one example being ATP, the energy that your mitochondria produces. This energy gives your body the electricity, the charge to do everything. Without nucleic acid, a lot of bad things would happen. Good afternoon, and welcome to a Human Body News Network breaking news report. I'm Jim Johnson. We have a breaking story coming in right now that some of the macromolecules in the body, that includes carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, and lipids, are having some serious issues. We are seeing carbohydrates being locked out of cells due to the phospholipid failure in the cell membrane. And in addition to that, we do have some serious DNA damage, as well as some issues with hormone production. Alright, and right now we are hearing from the brain, the head of the entire body. We are hearing some information right now about the solution to the situation, which enzymes are going to be sent out to repair this, and exactly how. Okay, so we have to cut to him right now. The brain is going live right now. Here we go. Good evening, Celticents. I am the brain, as you all know. Now, the information you're hearing about these macromolecules failing is 100% true. We are doing everything we can, and all of this information is being uploaded to the consciousness so that we understand what to do. So let's just go through them as quickly as possible. I'm not going to be able to take questions right now, but hopefully I'll answer any questions that you might have. So first of all, in terms of carbohydrates, what we are doing right now is we are just not able to absorb lactose. What we're doing is we are halting all indigestion of dairy objects that may have lactose in them, and we are going to go to a pharmacy, see if we can get some lactase supplements, and hopefully start to digest lactose again. In terms of protein, we're not forming enough insulin, which means our blood sugar levels are going very high. We're making sure that the effects are felt inside the body, especially in the consciousness, and we're going to go to a general practice doctor to try and get some insulin supplement. Hopefully that will help us to go back to normal. We may have to fix a little bit with eating some more sugar, eating less sugar. We're going to figure this all out as soon as possible. When it comes to lipid, we are seeing the phospholipid bilayer fail on a lot of cells, mainly due to excess water. What we're doing right now is we're just getting some extra cytosol in there. We're going to go to a general practice doctor, see if we can get even more of that, and we're also having vacuoles pump out water, but really the most important thing is just that we are going to try and get a cytosol injection supplement, whatever. And then lastly, in terms of nucleic acids, DNA and RNA, we are having some issues, mutations, substitutions, additions, and deletions. What we're doing is we are sending out enzymes to try and fix this. Do understand that this is not a minor thing with the nucleic acids, especially because we are seeing more than a googolplex just general mutations with the DNA when normally we would only have about a quintillion in a day. So we're doing all that we can, and all of this is going to the consciousness, but we're doing the best as possible. Thank you very much. Scalpel. You may have noticed that multiple times I referenced something called an enzyme. Now, enzymes technically aren't macromolecules, although they are proteins. They're not synthesized by RNA or in ribosome, so they aren't classified as a macromolecule. However, they are ridiculously important, probably more so than most of the macromolecules that we discussed today. Enzymes attach to a substrate, or a receiver, and use their activation energy to perform a chemical reaction that generally creates some kind of bodily function that we need to survive. Now, enzymes are a biological catalyst. They're extremely important, and the compounds that make them up are really cool. So, yeah, enzymes are important. Can we get that heart for the transplant? What do you mean we don't have it? Oh, that's not good. There you are. Well, that's our show, and if you'll excuse me, I've got some serious carbo loading to attend to. See you later. Produced in association with the Timothy Lewis Science Foundation.